Good morning. The other day we talked about in our writing how when we are starting a new series book, some things we want to stay the same. So you want your characters to stay the same. So we talked about how I still have Lila and Bobby in my story. And when I started my story, I introduced them and the setting again. So let's just go over it so we remember. It was December and there was snow on the ground. Lila and Bobby were excited because Christmas was coming. Lila and Bobby were in the fifth grade. Lila had curly blonde hair and was very bright. Her best friend and neighbor, Bobby, was in the same grade and he was tall with brown hair. Bobby and Lila loved to read and explore their town, Silly Town, where they lived. So on my first two pages, the only thing that I do is introduce who are my characters, what do they look like, and where is my story going to take place, which would be in the town. Now, as I'm getting more into my story, we want to create a problem. So most stories have a problem and then they end with a solution. So this is what I had my thought of. On Monday morning, Bobby and Lila walked into school. It was first block and they were in reading. Their teacher, Mrs. Wiggles, asked the class to get their books, but when they went to the bookshelf, the books were gone. Where could they be? Asked Lila. I wonder if someone stole them, answered Bobby. Mrs. Wiggles called the principal and told him what had happened. He told her that the art supplies had gone missing too. Just then the gym teacher ran in and yelled, "The soccer balls are missing!" No one knew where the supplies had gone. Lila and Bobby had an idea to solve the case. So I start with my introduction, which is who my characters are and where my story is going to take place. And then on my following 3 pages, I introduce to you what the problem was. And the problem is that the school supplies are going missing. And we don't know who is taking them. Now I want you to take a look at this page here. I added dialogue. So in your story, remember, dialogue is when your characters are talking. You can add dialogue for your story, but notice that my whole story isn't dialogue. It's only when I want my characters to talk. So I chose, "Where could they be?" asked Lila, because I think that she's pretty surprised that the supplies are gone. And then since she asked a question, I had Bobby answer with, "I wonder if someone stole them." And then my dialogue ends and I get back to me being the one telling the story. So those are some things that you can also add in your writing. So today what I want you to do, I want you to continue working wherever you are on your book. I want you to remember your capital letters and your punctuation marks. A lot of you should be done with your beginning or your introduction, so you should have already introduced your characters again. I know it's the second book with the same characters, but you want to introduce them again, just like we see in our A to Z snack read, and your setting. And then you're going to go into your problem. So I want you to work on what is your problem and then how are you going to solve it. So my next steps would be Lila and Bobby had an idea to solve the case. So my next step is going to be, well, what are Lila and Bobby going to do to solve the case? Are they going to watch the hallways and hide in the hallways to see if someone's around? Are they going to hide in the school until after hours to see if they can catch the supply stealer? What are they going to do? Are there cameras around that they can look at? So stay tuned on what they are going to do. So keep up the hard work and let's get writing.